Being your powerful self, stepping into your power. So what does power mean? What does power mean? Power comes from within. It's within us. Power isn't having control over people, having power over people, things, animals, having power over resources. That's not power. That's not true power. That's not true human power. What's our human power? What's our true human power? What does it mean to be a powerful human being? Being in your body. Being within yourself. Being in your power isn't dependent on what other people do. You can't control that. You can't control what people do around you, how they act around you, the things they're going to say. That's something you can't control. But what you can control is how you conduct yourself, how you let it affect you, how you let the circumstances in our life affect you. That's your choice, and that's your power. You need to separate yourself from people. On an energetic level, we need people in our lives, and especially the ones that we love. We need to have discernment from when we're in our energy, or if we're being pulled into someone else's energy. It's not good to be tangled up in someone else's energy. Their projections onto the world. We need to be centered. We need to be in ourselves. A way we can stay in our power, or good practice to keep in our energy, you just listen. Listen to people. You don't need to give them advice, tips. You don't need to tell them what they're doing wrong or whatever. You just listen to them. Listen to what they're saying. Don't get wrapped up in their stuff. Separate yourself from what other people have got going on. You can hear it. You can listen to them and see who they are as a person and what they're saying. You don't need to get entangled. It's all very much about energy exchange, the human interaction. And a lot of people lack their own source energy, their own connection to source. So they find ways to gather energy from others. You could call it control dramas. Intimidating people out of their energy, interrogating them out of their energy, being mysterious, not showing yourself as a means to get energy. Or being the victim, Oh, everything's so hard for me. Everything's so hard for me. Life's so hard for me. Please empathize with me. These are all strategies that a lot of people, we unconsciously do this stuff to gain energy. We're lacking in energy. A lot of us, we've lost that connection to Source, to God. We're trying to find energy desperately. And it's easy to fall into those dramas. But, we need to keep conscious. We need to be conscious of how we're conducting ourselves. If we're connected to Source, to the energy flow of the universe, God, we can have a healthy energy exchange with people. We don't have to get totally entangled with what they're saying, what they're expressing. And we can have healthy relationships with people. We can have healthy energy exchange. If we can be individuals, we need to be individuals. We can't be addicted to other people giving us energy. That's not going to work. And especially relationships, romantic relationships. So express ourselves fully. Be honest, be ourselves, be authentic. Dissolve the filter. That's a way of being in your power, being your powerful self. Being yourself. Find out who you are. And it's easy to have like the self-doubt thoughts like, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, what I'm saying doesn't have value, whatever it may be. It's easy to get in the self-doubt, but we need to be able to be a warrior, step in that warrior mindset where we put that to the side so we can love ourselves, so we can love others, so we can be our full selves, our unfiltered selves. Don't let your insecurities rule you. Don't let your insecurities and your doubts and your mind, your negative self-talk, rule your life. Don't let it cap your full experience of this life and loving people and loving yourselves and being free. Your freedom is your power. Being free is powerful. Freedom to express yourself, to love people, to love yourself. That's your power. Love is the most powerful expression on this planet. Just love. And when you feel like blocks towards people or circumstances, just remember that your soul wants to love. You want to be able to love. You want to be free. But we have these human emotions and our thoughts going on which kind of hold us back. But it's our nature to love. It's our nature to overcome, to free ourselves. That's what we want to do. We want to be emotionally free. We want to be able to love. There's a Jimi Hendrix quote. Was it when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. It's a great saying. Yeah, love. Love is the greatest power. Let that fill us. Let us walk in beauty and be powerful beings, loving and connecting to one another in a powerful way. That's beauty. That's love. That's the power of this human existence. That's the power that we're capable of. Listen to our hearts in trying circumstances. The mind's gonna go on. It's gonna tell you a lot of things, and it's not necessarily the truth. The heart knows. Your soul knows. And that ties back into having a warrior's mindset, being a warrior. You don't let your thoughts lead you. Your heart leads you. Your love leads you. If we listened to what our thoughts and our mind is saying, run away, protect yourself. You don't want to interact with people. Then you're not gonna be there for your loved ones. You're not gonna be there for your family. That's gonna take you away from that. You'll be lonely. If we listen to our minds, you'll be lonely. You'll be isolated. You wouldn't have people to love. You wouldn't have people that love you. So listen to your heart. Put your insecurities and your flaws to the side and listen to your heart so you can show up for the people around you, so you can show up for your family, your friends. Have a strong spirit. Have a strong love. So you can be selfless. So you can be there for people. That is rewarding. That's true purpose. It's being a part of this beautiful network, this beautiful world. That's power. Being connected to Mother Earth. Being connected to the animal kingdom. Being connected to your fellow human beings. Being connected to nature, the trees, the air, the sun, the moon. Love. Being connected to love. Being connected to the highest vibration. Now that's beautiful. That's a beautiful life. That's a powerful life. Our shadow. our dark side. This is a part of the picture as well. We need to be able to look at ourselves, look at our flaws, look at our insecurities. Because that's part of our freedom. That's part of us freeing ourselves. We need to see who we really are. You know, our dark side is fuel. It's fuel to step into our power. If you just think, you know, you're all light and love, that's very limited. You need to go deep into those dark root systems of your psyche, of your being, to realize how big and expansive you are. It's so part of the process. It's such a necessary part of the process. And I think where the liberation comes into that is realizing that and accepting that that's part of our human existence. It's the dark turmoil. We need to be able to have a relationship with that. We need to have a relationship with the uncomfortable side of ourselves, the dark thoughts. We need to have a relationship with that. And be able to accept that fully. Accept the limitations of this physical reality. It has limitations and friction, and that is such a beautiful thing. That is a blessing. So how can we merge with that? Really embody that friction, that darkness, the uncomfortability. How can we harness that for our growth, for our expansion, for realizing love? So yeah, practice acceptance of our human nature, the darkest aspects of ourselves. Accept that we chose to come into this physical reality. We chose this friction as boundless souls in the higher dimensions, limitless, constantly in love vibration. We chose to come to this physical reality to learn. We came here to learn. It's a beautiful learning experience, the friction and the hardship. That liberates our souls if we can learn from it, if we can learn from the hardship, if we can embrace it, if we can accept it, love it as part of this life, then that will liberate us. That will liberate our soul. And when we're in this life, in this physical, that deep dark root system is always going to be there. Like, yeah, maybe we're going to gain more understanding and acceptance in working with it, and it's going to feel more natural, and it's not going to feel so difficult over a lifetime, but it's still going to be there. But that is a beautiful thing. That's a really beautiful thing. Remember, we chose it. We chose that. We chose to incarnate, to feel this stuff. So yeah, the acceptance of our human nature, that's being a powerful human being. That's being your powerful self. So I reckon that's going to wrap it up. I'll see you in the next one. Boosh.